Oh, here we go.
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 Oh, here we
Here we
go.
go.
Oh, here we go.
Welcome back to the motherfucking podcast, guys.
Hi.
I'm Lacey.
I'm Stephanie.
and this is Here We Go. And we are bringing you an ex-Amish member today.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Last year around this time, I was doing a wedding in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, and Lacey and I were driving to this wedding and took a turn and were all of a sudden surrounded by a vast Amish community, and Lacey and I's faces were like, holy
like
shit.
baskets, like lined laundry,
Wagons,
just
fruit
old
stands,
houses,
fields among fields, and people in the outfits. And I was just like, holy shit, we have to get an Amish person on. And we get to this wedding, and the videographer is very familiar with the area, and he was like, no, they won't be filmed. Here's why. They believe their soul will be taken. Just all these other things. And we were like, oh my God. Okay. So he linked us with Ben that came on today, and we messaged him a year ago, and he didn't respond until a year later. And he flew out here and educated us on what it was like to be Amish for like 17 years of his life. And personally, I had never thought too deeply into the Amish realm. I had experienced them when I was younger and had stopped in at an Amish restaurant, and that was really all I knew. But now after speaking to him, I'm very much like, this is a very abusive cult-like community.
Yeah.
And
It seems like they just don't want anyone to think for themselves. Like anything that's too mind stimulating is against the
to
rules.
Stimulate in any way. And I always thought it was like such a choice to be part of that. And so that's why I never really thought about it. But they truly, if you grow up Amish, you don't know anything about the other world. So you don't really know if you want that other life. And I just personally think it would be better if they did have the education or the knowledge of both types of worlds, and they then chose, you know? And so, yeah, I just realized it's not that cute.
There's times where I'll just be like driving and I'm like, we are literally like in the future, and how that must feel for like an ex-Amish person or someone leaving the Amish situation to come into like the reality and be like, what the fuck? Like we are in the future.
And there's so much trauma that comes from that. Like the people that do get to escape, like he talks about that he has dealt with trauma, and it just sucks because like it just you shouldn't have to go through that. And I was like, damn, this is like North Korea vibes. Like people don't know what the outside world is like. People aren't allowed, and they're not allowed expression to the fullest. They can't leave, and if they leave, there's punishment that's fear-based. And I'm just like, this is such a violation to me of a human right.
Yeah. And
for humans to live in fear like that is just a violation of a human right to me. That's what I think. So. But yeah, he came on. It was very interesting. I now remember more questions that I wanted to ask, so maybe we'll have a part 2 ex-Amish episode. Who knows? But yeah.
How's your life been recently? But before we hop in the episode.
Yeah, we're trying to do more personal topics too, like in these intros. But my life's been really good. I just got back from being in Hawaii for a couple of weeks, and when I was out there, I worked quite a bit. And during my stay, my boyfriend is working on a couple projects out there, and hit one of the real estate women that he's working with. Her name is Carrie, and Carrie Nicholson, and she's amazing. She's, anyway, someone I definitely like look up to a little bit. And she had surprised me with this spa day at this place on the Big Island called Kukio, and it's a private residence, private resort. I don't know. But you can't just get in. You have to be invited, or you live there. Like celebrities walk around there. Jack Nicholson, she says, walks around. Owen Wilson, Matthew McConaughey. And I was so being invited to come to this for a day while Josh was working. I was just like, what? But whenever I got there, she met up with me and she told me, she was like, ever since I've met you, like I found out you had a podcast. I listened to your podcast. You've taught me so many things and I wanted to give something back to you. And I was like, oh, okay. So she's like, I set up a massage for you here. Just relax, like have the day. And I was like, no one in my life has ever done anything like that for me. No one's had, not that this is about that, but it kind of is. No one's really even had the money to do something like that for me. And so I was very just like, for like almost not even uncomfortable, but just like didn't know what to say. Because like my words didn't feel like they could do the justice of what I felt, which was very thankful and appreciative. But yeah, so I get into this massage situation and the lady is like, oh, so, okay, what kind of massage are you wanting? And I was like, literally, this was booked for me. I'll do whatever's easiest for you. I know I have like bad lower leg circulation, so if you want something to focus on, that would be cool. Otherwise, whatever you want. She was like, okay. And so it's a 90-minute massage and like maybe 15 minutes, 20 minutes in, she was like, well, I thought that you wanted or thought that you were unclear of what you wanted because you had heard that I did genealogy readings during massages. And I was like, I have no idea what that is. No, I literally, this was just booked for me. I'm just here to do whatever's easiest for you. And she was like, okay. And I was like, I, again, like, don't know what that is. So if you can tell me, I'm just laying here. So, and she started like rubbing my like lower leg and she was like, well, for example, I'm getting a feeling here that you have a dad with anger issues. And I was just like, okay, yeah, I do. And I'm summarizing this for the sake of us not being an hour-long thing. But then she touched my upper thigh and she was like, I have a feeling, or I'm getting a reading that you have brothers. And I was like, yeah. And she was like, well, one of them is really struggling with this divide between your dad and you. And I was like, oh my gosh, okay. And then she kept going and she was like, I'm also feeling that your mom was abused. And I was like, well, not obviously nothing physically, but very much emotionally in the past by my dad. And she was like, she struggles with this need to stand up for you kids or, and to just also hide. And I started really getting like flashbacks from conversations with my mom, very serious ones where she was crying and said those exact words to me before. And so that was really hard for me to like kind of like relive that. And then she touched my arm and she was like, I also am having a feeling here that you had a miscarriage earlier this year. And I was like, well, I had an abortion. And she was like, right. And she was like, well, I just wanted you to know that it was a girl and that you were not supposed to have it. That soul came into your life at that moment in your life, knowing already it wasn't supposed to make it, and that its only purpose was to develop a deeper connection between you and your partner. And I was just like, that's when I really started to cry, like trying not too hard because we're just in that room together. But I just like I've processed that as much as I can, but all throughout the beginning of the year, I'd been feeling, or like the middle of the year, kind of like May through June, been seeing pink everywhere. And I told my boyfriend about it, and he started seeing it a lot too. And then we were at this festival, and it's a festival, and this girl came up out of the woods and was just like, congratulations, you're pregnant and it's a girl, and gave us this little baby figurine and then ran away and like left. And we were just like, okay. And so at the time I was like, God, am I pregnant again? Like, fuck. And so, but now hearing that, I just was like, oh my gosh. And, yeah, so it was nice to be able to hear that. And she was just like, they call it like a soul kiss. A lot of souls enter people's lives knowing that they're already not supposed to like make it all the way. And then she talks about my relationship, and she was like, your hair resembles your boyfriend's biological mother's hair, and that so his love and attraction for you goes deeper than you think it does, and which is crazy because the first thing that Josh ever said to me when we met was literally the first thing was, "I love your hair." And so that was so crazy to me. And then she also said, it's very important that your boyfriend finds his biological father because he's adopted. And she doesn't know these things. I wasn't saying anything to her. She also did not know my name. The reservation was under Carrie Nicholson. And it was just crazy. And we talked further, but one of the other biggest things I took from that was, she was like, the divide between you and your dad and the way that he is, it stems from insecurities and fears, and because my dad's very conservative and I am not, and we clash on that all the time. And she told me, she was like, if you want to get through to somebody like that, you cannot fight masculine energy with masculine energy. You have to fight masculine energy with feminine energy. And she was like, women are flowy and like, look at our bodies, look at our hair. She was like, that's the energy you have to approach with masculine energy. Like, women are just like, sorry, but women are just smarter and like emotionally, like, we're just there. And she was like, if you want to get through to your dad, that's what you have to do. You can't puff up your chest and like go against him. You have to be smarter than that. And so I just was so emotional and like crying and everything, that after the massage, I texted my dad and my brothers, and I was like, I'm so sorry for if the divide between dad and I has caused any strain on you. I'm going to do better and be a better sister for you. And I texted my dad too. And I was like, no matter what the type of person you come off as, or especially or what you say, I'm always going to love you. And ever since then, everybody has been healing a little bit, communicating a little bit more. And my dad's been a lot different too. And so, yeah, it just was very interesting. Didn't sign up for a genealogy massage reading, but that really kind of fucked me up for a second in a good way. So that was a big update I wanted to share with everybody. Yeah.
Wow.
So sign up for those if you can find them.
I mean, I want to do something like that because our intuition is, always right, but it's really nice to have someone that kind of relay that information back to you.
Yeah.
That's unbiased. They don't know you, because you're like, oh yeah.
She touched on all the things that had been bothering me over the past couple of months, and I left that feeling like like a new person. And so yeah, that's what's up with me.
My day will come. I want one so bad because there's so many like
shout out to
problems.
Susan at Kukio. Gotcha, girl. Yeah. I'm coming back for you somehow.
Me too.
Yeah. But what's up with you?
Well, speaking of like emotions, I'll try and keep this like a little shorter. This past week was like more emotional. I was PMSing. I finally started my period. Like, I'm so neurotic about like the day I start my period. So if I'm like a day or two late, I'm like, yeah. So I went through some of that, like on top of like just my mood swings, I guess. And I don't know, like I just am definitely more sensitive, and I'm really trying to not discredit like my sensitivity or my emotions during this time because they're stronger for a reason. But I'm also just like, oh, like I don't know if I can trust them right now. Like, well, let me see like what I'll feel like in a week. Like, will I still feel the same? Will I still feel this emotional burden or weight? Like, will the weight be the same? But one common theme that I've been working on for like the longest fucking time is like me trying to trust women. There is definitely like some block there. I don't have many female friends in my life, and it
me.
I said many.
Oh, I thought you said I don't have any.
No, many.
I was like, damn.
No.
On
like
the pod.
you're literally the only one.
Okay.
And I've been trying to kind of like go out of my way, but because I want to trust women. It's just this natural thing. And I talked about it in therapy, and I really feel like 13 years old again, which is when girls started bullying me and mistreating me and pushing me and calling me skank. And like, I was bullied for so many different reasons, and like,
Skank.
Yeah, like I was called a
What a
fugly
word.
slut with a mustache, and like when I started modeling, like that was hard, and like
Do you
things
feel
that,
bad for those people now in a
well,
way?
I mean, I was like, I can be sad about this all day, but look where I am. Like it's part of the
and look
reason.
where they are.
Yeah, it gave me so much drive, but it's those things that aren't healed in me still that hold me back in a lot of ways, and I hate it. Like I want girlfriends, like I want to be trusting, like I don't know, I just, there's a block that I don't like, and there's also a block with feeling like I'm too much, and I've really been trying to work on this for like ever now. I feel like I'm really trying to like use my voice and share my opinion and speak up, and I just find a lot of the times like I dissociate, like naturally in group settings, like I just tune out, like, and I don't know why that is. Like I'm naturally more introverted in large groups, like I can get overstimulated very easily, like I have so much anxiety speaking up, like I really, my boyfriend brought it to my attention, and he was like, what? He's like, I
Did you
want
say
to.
boyfriend?
Yeah.
Oh, did y'all have that conversation?
Well, like, no, it's what it is. Like,
Oh, wow. Okay.
okay, for this, it was like we were partners.
Yeah.
And now I'm just like,
I'm sorry.
you're my fucking boyfriend.
I don't really like the partner word. I know that it's sweet, and I've been using it too, but boyfriend and girlfriend is fucking cute. Like, it's cute.
Right. I know. I was talking to someone, and they were like, partner. They're like, Lacey, you deserve to be a girlfriend.
Yeah. Like, you're my partner. Like, damn.
So anyways, he brought it to my attention that like when we're in a group, like I get really quiet, and he's like, I can tell that you go somewhere. And I was just like, I don't know why I do that. I'll think about it and I'll try. But I was like, ugh, my chest got so red. I was like, thinking about speaking up makes me so uncomfortable, because the amount of times that I haven't been heard or have been spoken over, or like I'm just talking to thin air. I'm like, even right now, I'm like, ugh.
Oh, wow. I know.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's like one thing that I want to work on. Like, and it's been heavier this week due to my hormones and like feeling like I am too much. Like I try to be, and like probably most people do, like I try to cause the least amount of problems as possible. Like I don't want to be a burden on anyone. Like I want to be like Miss Perfect, like happy. Like, and so when I get upset, I'm so scared to show my anxiety, or I'm scared to show that I'm angry, or I'm scared to show that I'm just in a lower state. Like I don't like showing that side of me, because I guess, I mean, there has to be some trauma around like one of my ex-boyfriends sent me to a mental institute on accident.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys know that. I think I've mentioned it here or there, but
We need to talk solely on that one day.
yeah, I know, but I'm okay. I was depressed, and he was like, "You're gonna kill yourself. Like,
Yeah.
let's send you somewhere." So he sent me somewhere.
Because
and
she was
then-
on birth control, and it was fucking up with
Yeah.
her hormones.
and then he broke up with me. So like, and that was the first time I had really opened up to him about it, and he freaked out and sent me to a mental institute, and then broke up with me.
Yeah, so imagine women were emotional times 30 because we have hormones pumping into us because it's birth control first time, and you talk to your boyfriend and you're like, hey, like I'm really depressed, like I've considered like thinking about even killing myself. I'm not going to though, but like those are the thoughts. And instead of him just talking with you, he just calls suicide hotline and they admit you. And so now every time Lacey wants to talk about feelings or like be anything that would be heavier than a normal conversation, she now has trouble. She's afraid she's gonna be metaphorically sent to a fucking mental institution.
Or,
so it's just like,
I
but
mean,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, like I have so like I'm like,
You know, you feel like it's too much, and it's not.
I was crying about something, and I was like, oh, you don't want to leave? Like I'm about to start crying right now. It's so weird.
Yeah. Oh no! Oh my God.
I'm telling you, emotional.
Yeah, so it sucks. Like the way people handle other people's emotions is so important. And like Lacey's very passive, and wants to be more like aggressive with your emotions and your voice. Whereas I am the opposite. I am too aggressive and like bold with my voice, and I wish that I could be more calm and passive. And like I was telling my boyfriend this the other day, I'm like, I look at the people that are like calm and quiet And I'm like, damn, I want to be like that, you know, and just like sweet and like kind. And cause I'm just like, I'm too reactive. I'm too much like, this is how I feel. And if you don't like it, then I don't know what to do.
I
you
need
know?
a little bit of that.
That's
That's
probably we could just like break us in half and just like split it.
Yeah, I mean, we're learning from each other.
Yeah, that's true. Aw. Damn, it's the first time you've cried on the podcast.
It's the first time for everything.
Wow. I'm sure I'll have my moment soon. But yeah.
I think we need to segue.
I'm like, how do we jump back in the episode now?
Amish.
Yeah, so speaking of emotional abuse, we're gonna jump into the episode, guys, and without
Further ado, here we go. Welcome back, guys.
Hi. God. Hello, everybody.
Today, we have an ex-Amish person on.
We've been trying to get you for a year.
Right. You're right. Yeah.
We messaged you, around this time last year, and you never responded. And we were like, all right. But we held on, and then you
Reached out to
came
us.
out of nowhere.
Yeah.
That was a year ago. I didn't know. It was in my messages and found it in my message requests. So
Wow.
That's how I felt.
You found
busy
it a
man.
year later in your message request?
yeah, when I responded, I didn't know it was in there for that long. But,
Just about, I
it
think.
just, wow. I remember, what is his name? The guy that was helping us film the music video mentioned it, and I know you guys had followed me, or the podcast did, but I hadn't seen the message since about a month ago.
Wow.
Oh, shit. I'm like, I know it. Maybe it wasn't
We'll have
that
to
long.
double check.
Yeah, but before we get into this, introduce yourself. Tell us about you.
My name's Ben Byler, and you want like a short clip, 5 minutes, couple seconds,
Whatever
couple
comes up.
seconds, whatever comes
Tell
up.
us interesting things about you and
Who
why
are
you're
you?
here.
Where are you from?
Yeah, so grew up. Let's see, what could we start with? Let's see. I guess interesting stuff. So I'm Ben Byler, country musician,
Oh, yeah.
and grew up Amish, and all of a sudden losing my train of thought, but it'll come back.
Where are you from? Let's start there.
So I'm from Lancaster, I'm from York County, Pennsylvania.
Okay.
I
Okay.
live in Lancaster right now.
So it's called Lancaster?
Lancaster, yeah.
Oh, we're like Lancaster.
Lancaster. Mhm.
Dang, okay.
Lancaster.
Okay.
Wow.
Are you still there?
Yeah, I live in Lancaster right now, but I'm moving to Nashville in probably 2 to 3 weeks.
Oh,
So,
what? For your
congrats.
country music
yeah,
career?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck yeah.
So it's time to take it seriously, and I've been doing construction to pay for my recordings up to this point,
Wow.
and now it's time to jump the gun and see what happens.
Oh,
Where is your accent from?
Amish, I guess.
are they country?
Oh, what?
I don't know, like it. I guess I tell people maybe it's a mixture of Southern from Nashville because I go there a lot,
Okay.
and my Amish because we have like German, like I know German, and I don't know. I probably developed my own just growing in the past couple years, but
Okay.
it's I don't know. What does it sound like to you guys?
Matthew McConaughey.
No way.
It just sounds like another country. I'm just like
Interesting. Yeah, I guess I did hear that like Australia already. People
Yeah.
I've asked about Australia,
So
but
Amish people sound like this?
I think I'm probably unique. I don't know.
Yeah.
I've never heard somebody that sounds like me, but as far as my voice goes, so. But yeah, it's a combination, I would say.
Wow. So you're no longer Amish.
No.
Is your family still?
My grandparents are. My parents are not. So
Oh, wow.
yeah, like when I was 17, my parents we're living in York County. We're like strict Amish. We're like following the rules. Dad was like, he's killing it. He's like, man, a religious man. And then 17 years old, it would start about when I was 15. Mom was having health problems, and they're like, looking like what's going on, kind of searching for answers. And then eventually, just found different people they're talking to. And through having conversations, they decided to leave. And they wanted a different life for us, I guess, than the Amish, the way we were raised. And that was when I was 17. I'm 30 now, so 13 years ago. So almost half, getting close to half and half.
Wow. Okay, so your whole family left, and it was essentially because your mom was sick, and then their Amish practices were not enough for, or just not what you guys were wanting.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that mom having health problems, it kind of like got dad asking questions, dad and mom asking questions like, is what's going on with mom's health, first of all, and then their belief system, because they were raised in a specific belief system, and they were started questioning that a little bit, like, hey, is this the best for our kids? Is this what we want to do? So that's kind of it stemmed from mom having health problems and then looking into kind of the issues that were being hid or swept under the rug and all that good stuff. So that's why it started. That's what started it. Yeah.
Well, what is Amish? Like, by definition, like, what is it?
Good question. It would have been a religion. Basically, I would call it a religion that it started, actually, the Mennonites. You guys heard of Mennonites as well. People say Mennonite and Amish, but the Mennonites were an Anabaptist religion that broke off from the Catholic Church, I think. Yeah, so it was way back, like 1600s, 1500s. It was a while back. So they would have broken off from the Catholic Church, Mennonites, and then Amish broke off the Mennonites because they wanted to be a little stricter and follow more of the traditions. The Amish are strong on traditions. So that's where they started, and it's just kind of evolved to now where certain traditions they held on to, other traditions they did not. And it's kind of evolved to what it's today, yeah. So basically, the elders chose the traditions to hold on to, and here they are, not driving a car, but yet they would spray like the fields with modern chemicals. So it's like, what's the where's the line, or why this and why not that? So.
Oh wow! So it went from Catholic Mennonites to Amish. So Amish isn't even that. I thought Amish was like the original way of life. Wow. Okay.
I didn't even think about it being a religion. I was gonna ask, like, do you follow a certain? Is it? Do you read
Catholic?
the Bible? Like, what is it?
It's like like Jesus and God. It's like Catholic, but pretty much I would say similar to Catholic. Actually, there's a lot of similarities, but just more of where tradition was important, and I could call it, there's definitely cult-like behavior. So I don't know if you want to call it a cult, but there's a lot of fear where that keeps the members, keep people from leaving. So
what's the fear?
Just the way we're raised. I mean, think of like a strict Southern Baptist kind of belief system, but just even farther extreme, maybe, like as far as what was the question again? You said
like, what was the fear?
Oh, fear. Big thing was the way we were raised was a lot of fear based on, verbal abuse, physical abuse type of raising. And then the preachers would also use that kind of same technique at church in the preaching. It would just be, kind of like, in a lot of ways, it's just, if you read, depends how you interpret the Bible. There's a lot of fear-based stuff in it already. So it's just kind of doing,
Extreme.
It's the extreme stuff. Yeah, I would say that.
Were they not growing? So you were Amish from the moment you were born until 17. Mm-hmm. Were you not so bored? Or is that just all you knew?
Bored? Yeah, that's all I knew. Yeah, that's because it's funny now looking back to see how little or how innocent or how little I knew, because you grow up in this culture, that's all you know. It's kind of like I say, growing up in another country, you grow up in that culture, that's all you know. You leave it, you get integrated into American culture. It's like, wow, this is a different world. That was like what it was like for me. But it just, I don't know.
How did you think that? Well, I was asking if you were bored.
Sorry, I get bored. I get carried away, but yeah, you might have to rein me back in a little bit.
You're good.
Bored. No, we had a lot of work. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, how did you feel
So-
did you have interactions with other children that didn't live that way?
Oh, not really. No, I mean, yeah. So I should probably a quick board. At 5 years old, I started getting up at 5 o'clock and working. So every day since then, I've been working. So no time to be bored. But we did take off Sundays. But as far as other kids that are not Amish, we had a neighbor that lived in our uncle's house that was Luke, was my age, my brother, and I, and he came down once a week or whatever. So we would kind of chill with him, but nothing much. Mostly Amish kids at church, at school, all that good stuff. So
Wow.
Yeah.
5 a.m. at 5 years old. What was your work day?
milking cows, feeding horses. We started with, I would get up, Dad'd be milking cows. I would come out, feed the horses, feed the calves, feed the cows, and then we'd have breakfast around 7, and then go out, hit the fields afterwards from 8 to 11:30 or so. Do the field work.
What was the field work?
So it depended on the season, but I would say, I'm picturing right now, we'd be on like the fourth cutting of hay. We'd be making hay, getting ready for silo filling, where you cut the corn, put it in silo for the cows. So yeah, if it were, say, right now, we'd probably make hay. So I'd hitch up 4 horses to the cart, harness them. So I would get them out, harness them up, get them outside the barn, put them all 4 in a row, hitch them together, hitch them to a cart, and pull the cart up to the hay rake, hitch up the hay rake, head out to the field, and rake with 4 horses. And that's how you raked it.
At 5?
No, this would be 7:30.
No. 5 years old?
Oh, at 5 years old. Oh.
It's like,
maybe
so
10.
5-year-olds today are like little bitch ass.
Yeah, I was like 11 or so probably. So,
Wow.
not 5, but 5 I would be feeding the horses and stuff. But I think I hit the field when I was like 10. Yeah, 10 years old.
Was all this work for your family, for the community, or did you sell these goods? Is that how the community made money?
Yeah, it was individual family, so it would just be for our family, where I would basically Dad had the money and we would be his little workers.
How do you make money? Like, how do you pay your bills?
Would he sell this stuff to
It was milk,
people?
so he would sell the milk. We'd raise the crops and feed it to the cows and then sell the milk.
Wow. Would y'all deliver the milk?
No, the delivery truck would pick it up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, I truly believe, like, if there was an apocalypse, I might try and find an Amish family, because you know how to you already know how to self-sustain. Like,
Pretty much. That's what I've been
But they
thinking.
don't have any guns to save you.
The Amish don't?
Do
You never know.
Oh.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
They believe in that? Is
Yeah.
that but that's technology, right? Wouldn't they use like bow and arrows? Like, that's what I'm picturing.
Yeah, for archery season they would. But no, it's basically I guess hunting is where it came from, because hunting was some reason always important for the Amish growing up. I never hunted, but like a lot of our church community would. My cousins did, but yeah, that's where it started. Probably mostly it would be hunting guns that Amish would have, not really like like pistols, or it's more like hunting, not really for self-protection as much, but then those are powerful guns, so you can do whatever. But
Yeah. Do you like, when you wake up sometimes, you get like a little itch like to like go out and do these things still? Like, if it was such an important part of your life for half of your life.
that is a good point. No, I get an itch for going to the field sometimes. Like, I smell in the spring, you smell the fresh plowed field, or the fresh cut hay. It's like, I love to do that. So yeah, I mean, in a way, yeah, it's like, it's part of me and I'm proud of it. So I try to keep the good parts, good memories. And so, yeah, the good parts, absolutely.
So does your family, like, because I'm assuming your parents are not anymore, right?
Not Amish, no.
Do they, now living a normal lifestyle, I'm assuming, do they feel like, fuck, we just did that for 17 years, or like however
than their
long?
life.
Yeah. They're
Yeah.
just like, God, what
Yeah.
were we doing? Like, did they regret it?
Yeah, it's like 40 years for them, which is like, programming's like, ooh, that's a lot of years.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like, because of that, I don't think they regret it, or they I mean, I don't know what definition of normal is. They definitely would not. I would say found a spot maybe in between the Amish and normal American society, that their kind of belief system that they like. Again, pulling from the Catholics, some from the Jewish belief system, that they observe Saturday as a Sabbath. They don't eat pork, stuff like that. But like the mom and dad, they dress like normal Americans, you could say. Dad drives a milk truck, so he hauls milk, so he's still in the world.
He still does that?
Yeah, and so as far as like the way outward appearance, they look pretty similar to general Americans, I would say.
What about the
they
internet?
drive? Yeah, they have the internet. Yeah.
Well, what do they think about it? If they were they off of it for 40 years?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, definitely. I don't know. There was a lot of the internet was a little bit of a sore subject in the Amish, especially when I was a younger kid. But some people didn't have good to say, especially in my. But no, I think they got over it. They're pretty much, they use it as a tool. They look at it as a tool.
What is the Amish's reasoning for no technology? Just to keep traditional values, or?
Yeah, it's like we're talking about, like, it's weird they keep some technology and they don't others, so it's weird. I think the biggest thing is just tradition is certain traditions they've chosen. I think certain traditions incite certain things, so they choose to keep them, so that to keep, like, let's say not driving on the road, let's say not driving a car, that's still not allowed, but that kind of holds you back. It certain things like education, I went into 9th grade, it could potentially hold you back unless you're smart and you rise above it. But I guess maybe just to keep their teachings to their kids so they can raise them in their way of life, and whatever they feel would inhibit that, they wouldn't allow. Like the internet would not be helpful in that, because you could find new ideas of thinking like I did, and then it's like not good. So
it's a control thing,
pretty
kind
much,
of.
pretty
Oh,
much.
wow.
Did you notice coming out of it that like any social cue behavior that you almost caught yourself maybe even looking back now that you're like, oh, that was weird, or like I shouldn't have, or like you've learned socially? Did you have to relearn socially like how to be with other people?
Finally almost learning it. Very socially awkward coming out of the Amish, because I didn't know. In the Amish, it was, I found my spot, but I just, felt a lot of fear when I came out of that kind of circle and trying to figure out how. First we went Mennonite, so it's like a different kind of set of rules there. Then you leave that. Or then we went to like ex-Amish friends, which is also kind of a different set of rules. And now I'm just living in the world and trying to understand and, just fitting in with. So it's a process, but it's very different socially. And I had definitely an interesting time to learn and interact with other people. Absolutely.
How about like with girls?
Yeah, that was the scariest part. Because I'm
assuming, like, how do they even teach about sex in the Amish?
That's a taboo subject for sure. They, like, the girls sit on one side and guys on the other side in church. So it's very,
wow.
I would say women are oppressed in the Amish more than it should be. And the way I was taught to view women was, I don't know, we just definitely, as they would say, teach me. Like, I remember when Dad told me women are smarter than men, I was probably 14. I'm like, what the fuck? Are you serious? I was like, we were taught quite opposite, right? That men are the.
Yeah.
So at 14, 15, they were starting to change their mind on some of the things. So that's why he said it. But I remember, that's kind of just to give you a picture of the way I was raised with, to view women as. Absolutely. So, we just.
Your dad was changing the mindset, or the religion was changing their mindset?
My dad, not the Amish religion.
Oh,
no.
okay. Oh,
yeah. That was part of leaving, of wanting to leave the Amish. Or that's kind of when it started. When I was 15, 16, they started questioning some of the belief systems and stuff like that. So.
Wow. So, getting back into dating, like leaving the Amish, like what's a memory that you have that you were like, oh my God?
Say, was I Amish or was I not Amish?
Not Amish anymore, and like getting into dating, into
Getting
the
into
real world.
dating?
Yeah, into the real world.
Okay. A story that, what was the question again?
Like kind of just like a moment where you realized, oh, this is gonna be interesting. Like just trying to figure out how to do this,
Gotcha.
or if there even was one.
Oh, I'm sure there was. I'm just
Like,
yeah.
did any girls be like, what? Like,
Did a woman? Because Stephanie and I feel sometimes that we have to quite literally teach our men sometimes. And I'm like,
they have been Amish.
yeah. So
They haven't.
was there ever a time where a woman took the reins and was like, "Hey, let's teach you
what
a little
happened
bit."
to you your
Yeah.
whole life? Like, was there a
Right.
moment where it was just weird for a second?
I don't know. I mean, I came in, I was very innocent as far as like, I would say, let's see, I didn't really know that's 19, 18. I didn't really know what sex was for sure. Like I didn't look it up online. I was like, man,
Oh wow,
this is actually what it is, like penis and vagina. Are you kidding me? I couldn't fathom that at 18. Like
Wow.
that's where I was mentally, right? So yeah, progression of then to 27 when I had sex first time, like 18, it was like 10 years or whatever. So it's very weird, interesting progression of as far as that, interaction with women.
Yeah, because you don't even know what to do. You couldn't even look up porn or anything.
Right.
Like,
Yeah. Even at 18, I was like, once I had a phone, I was Googling it, like, how does this work? I didn't know. Dad never, nobody, like, we had animals would have sex on the farm. You kind of, but it's like, we wouldn't do that. Humans wouldn't do that, right? This is different.
But that's all you could
But,
go off of.
right, there was no magazines, there was nothing. So,
Wow. Did you
yeah.
even know what masturbating was?
no, it's like 20 or so.
Oh wow.
You could wait. So you didn't even have those urges when you were a kid,
Oh, yeah, it was like, I had wet dreams. I would wake up and.
but you
it's
did
like,
not masturbate till you were 20.
Not intent, no, like.
Yeah.
Like I would, in my sleep, it would be like feel like I was sometimes, but it wasn't like actual
didn't-
movements. And I was like, it was just with my mind.
Wow.
But
yeah.
I was not like,
Those are good too.
I used to
yeah.
do that when I was young.
Yeah.
but yeah, I always felt guilty though, because I was like, man, this feels sinful. So I don't know why. But
So like even in the privacy of your own like room, or if you even had that, you would not be like, you wouldn't like touch yourself.
no, the first time it was funny. The first time it happened, I was just like rubbing my penis, and it just felt feeling better and better. I'm like, okay, all right, here we go. This is how it works.
That's
so,
how we all discover it.
right, but at 20 or whatever. So
Wow.
So what was your what did your first sexual experience feel like to you?
see, I didn't know what to expect. But yeah, it was cool. It was I don't know if this makes a difference, but I didn't come the first time, so
Oh,
Okay.
I
I hear that happens with
like
first times.
but I think she seemed to enjoy it. I didn't tell her, so I don't know. She asked like one time how many encounters I had, or whatever. It's like count them on one hand.
Oh, okay.
But so it was like a weird. We weren't dating. It was kind of like I'm a musician. She was all about it, and I was like, So I was like, well, let's let it happen, but eventually we.
So
just
she didn't look at you
moved on.
and after, and you're like, she wasn't like,
No.
were you Amish for 20 years? Okay.
No, she knew I was Amish, but yeah, I guess I didn't do too bad. I don't know. I should
Okay,
ask
there
her
you
maybe.
go. I should ask her. Well,
But no, it was 27. It was like it was like one of those things was like one of my biggest. It was one of those urges that I locked in for years and years and years. So it was very interesting. Yeah.
Did you ever have like guilt? Because I know people who grow up in a super religious environment where sex is like, no sex, like no sex till marriage. Like a lot of people have like guilt during or after or even about it.
Mm-hmm.
Did you experience any of that?
By that point, I would have definitely, if it would have been a couple years earlier, by that point, not much.
Okay.
I've went through a process of a lot of inner healing or stuff healing inside. So by that time, not really. I don't think so. It was probably a little bit here or there, but nothing major. Kind of made peace with a lot of that stuff. So yeah.
Since your family isn't a part of it anymore, have your grandparents disowned you guys?
On my mom's side, my mom's dad disowned her. Basically, she said he said that, or he said, if you're not Amish, I disown you as my child. Basically, to my mom. However, my dad's side, they're very welcoming, and both my granddads passed away, one 2019, 2020, I believe. So, but we haven't seen our grandmom on my mom's side because of that. But on dad's side, we go see them all the time, especially our cousins. Like I work with our cousins on dad's side. So my brother works with them as well. So it's like we're pretty close there. I live at my cousin's house or at his,
They're still Amish?
Yeah. So
they see you living this like now modern lifestyle, and they still want to be Amish?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's how would you explain it? If you have it programmed in your mind for that long, it's a cycle that you are scared to break. First of all, like taking red pill, what would happen if you do something you don't know? So that's what keeps most people. It's a fear-based kind of circle that just keeps people in it. So
I look at this. I feel like it's almost abusive to keep people like that, like to give them no option to know both worlds and to be able to just force them to live that way and out of fear. I feel like that's so abusive. I mean, that's pretty much what North Korea does to people. Like they don't know what the outside world is like. They have no option, and if they try to escape, the Amish don't do this, but they're killed or like something like that. And so it's just like it's abusive. And so but they have that show Escaping Amish or something where like they are given the option at like 18 to explore the modern world, and then if they go that direction, if they stay, they're like disowned from their family. So have you seen that?
Yeah, it's Rumspringa. Is that what you're talking about?
I don't know.
Or Breaking Amish is the show, I believe, and Rumspringa, yeah. So Rumspringa is basically a glorified youth group, and when you're 16, you start at the youth group, and I did it for 1 year or so. But as far as given the option to leave, depends, I would say. So the Amish is a community just like normal world, and they have different stripes of people. Like certain people want to be crazier and not follow the rules versus some people in the middle. They're just, we're rule followers. Other people, or the far right, they're just going to do exactly as the rules say. In the middle, maybe not. So I was about in the middle where like I would have a radio and that's breaking the rules. So we didn't really stray too far outside the rules, but so technically I didn't really think about leaving too much. But the people that want to party and go hard, they definitely would be closer to a lot more of them would maybe leave because they're more the wildcats. I don't know.
Yeah,
the wildcats.
What are some like common, maybe abnormal rules that you had to follow that were like,
Where do I start? Definitely the weird one was music that I didn't like. I wasn't allowed to sing, or I was allowed to sing, and I love singing, but playing instrument, the only thing was a harmonica. So I couldn't do guitar, which I love playing guitar, or anything like that. So that's probably the weird one. And again, I think it's music, emotion, you feel, and once you start connecting, then you start thinking, and that's you don't want to get thinking too much. That's the general. I think that's probably where it stems from.
This is where it's abusive.
Yeah, you don't want people to think for themselves.
Yeah,
I agree.
And
I agree.
That's crazy. Like it would be way cooler if like everybody in the Amish religion knew both sides and then they happily chose to be Amish.
Yeah.
Wow. What?
It's definitely I would say a lot of definitely not a lot of stuff that they don't talk about or you sweep under the rug. you make it appear to the public as one thing. You know, that's very common. You know, a lot of families are that way. You know, they pretend to be got it all together, and then
Right.
it's not.
Yeah,
So it's
yeah.
kind of just like but it is abusive, and that's why I want to start talking about it, because even just people understand, because when you're raised like this, say you're raised with a narcissistic parent and you don't know they're a narcissist, and then you just, that's the only way you can receive love and give love, that in that kind of mindset or that frame of mind. And so it's kind of like that, and now I'm finally just seeing it come out of it. I'm like, wow, I see where the pieces were missing, and by me talking about it, you know, people can maybe it'll unlock their, oh wow, yeah, start thinking a little bit. So, you know, that's the idea. I felt that I got shown a way to see things, and if I can speak out about it, people might be able to see the different way a little bit, so that they have that other option, like you were mentioning.
Yeah, are there like different levels of Amish? Because my first experience with the Amish community, I was playing the World Series in fast pitch, and we were in Hutchinson, Kansas, and we went through this Amish town, and they had a restaurant, and a whole team ate at the restaurant, and I was just like, already, I was like, can they do this? Like, they're using technology to take our order and to cook things. So, and that was my first time to order catfish and it be brought out with the eyeballs. And I never ate it catfish ever again after that. But then I mean, like, yeah, like as far as like Amish, I'm like, they were using technology to do all those things. So is there different levels or whatever they want?
There is definitely, yeah. It's in York County where I was raised. They're way more strict. Like they would put somebody, or say there's a preacher, and they'd silence the preacher for somebody. Let's say a construction guy. My uncle has a generator, and he uses it on the field for his job. That's technology, right? In York County, they would say, "Hey, don't use the generator or leave the church." In Lancaster, in a different area, that's completely different. So there's different levels, kind of like the Rumspringen thing I said. Some people follow the rules, some people are crazy. And in the communities where there's more people that don't want to follow the rules, they're more lenient on the rules, and there's going to be less fear, probably. There's going to be less, so it's also lesser, levels of the cultish kind of behavior, I would say. If it's just levels to it, but the ones where they're really strict with the rules seem to have the even more fear. So the Amish, what you're talking about, the restaurant, if for construction, for farming is the one they keep the strictest, but if you're construction or anything other than farming, they're a little more lenient on, and so you can, like, say, kind of get away with some of the technology if it's for work, for making money, but at the house. But it's kind of creeping in, like the Amish are, especially in Lancaster, are more the modern or the faster Amish, you could say. They are definitely becoming more lenient in a lot of ways, and even in the fears lessening, that it's easier, more people are leaving, so it's definitely not all my experience, but what I'm sharing is my experience. So
yeah,
is Amish just an American thing, or is it all over?
Yeah, they originally, I think we came over from Switzerland, somewhere around Switzerland area, so in the 1700s. So I believe it's only America as far as I know. I don't know for sure. I think so.
I want to know, like, what the women were doing. Like, also, was there a dress code? Like, in my head, I'm envisioning women that, like, are in bonnets and, like, have long dresses, can't show ankles, or... That's the dress code?
Pretty much. I mean, I think so. You got to cover the knees for sure. So
those knees, man.
The knees are.
I
don't. Yeah, they started from the preachers can't take. They can't see more than. They can't handle it. I'm just kidding.
Well, I was like, oh, that makes sense.
But it is honestly in the Mennonites. Some of them, I think, because a lot of the preachers are, because of the wrong view on sex, they're very perverted thinking, and so it's like yeah, this elbow will get you fired up, you know. So they gotta wear long sleeves or, you know, cover the ankles, wear socks because you can't see your feet or something like that. So, but that's, you know, that's not in the Amish. It's general, really. But so the dress code, girls definitely knees covered. There's black shoes for the most part. Any colored dresses, but like a black apron, or a white apron if you're going to church. And a cape as well. Cape, if you're dressing up, you gotta have a cape. Then for a woman, if you're over like 12, I believe, you gotta wear like some kind of covering, like a handkerchief or a white cloth or a black bonnet or something like that. So gotta have your head covered at all times. And yeah, very, very much like my mom would never really share how she feels. She pretty much just keeps stuff inside. That's just the way she was raised, and it's not good because that breeds to resentment and a lot of mental issues. So, but it's just the way it is, and a lot of people struggle with that because they don't talk about it.
Whoa! It seems like they want to keep everyone as less stimulated as possible, or least stimulated as possible. Yeah, like with the basic colors and like covering your hair, like they don't want you to see like anything or hear anything stimulating.
I don't get why this is fun for anybody. I don't get why anybody wants to do that. I don't even get why the original people ever wanted to do this.
Right. Well, it stems from the fear of going to hell, probably. Christian religion. That's really where it comes from.
So many issues come from that. Oh my God. Wow. Okay, so this is a weird question, but like,
let's go.
I'm like thinking about your parents' sex life, and did you have to keep clothes on during sex?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Did you ever hear them in a quiet house with no AC or technology, or did you ever
just like the wooden floors?
If I heard them having sex, I did one time. My bedroom was under. I heard creaking, so I don't know. I guess it must have been that, but I think it's probably normal. Like, I don't know we never really talk about that much even to this day, but I would guess it's pretty normal. Even though there is stories of some backward Amish that in the mountains where they're even more plain than I was in York County, and they don't talk about sex to the point where the couple was married and they weren't having any kids, and they were like, "What's going on?" So they talked to the preacher, and he's like, "Hey, you're doing it wrong." So I would say that's probably true.
Oh, like
that
anal?
actually has happened. No, just no like holding hands or whatever, or hugging, or no penetration.
Oh, they just didn't know.
Yeah, probably.
Whoa.
So it's kind of a...
Yeah, because I was going to ask, like, how do you figure out how to have sex if you've never even looked it up or seen it?
Yeah,
well, I mean,
or just watching farm animals.
But instinctually, if animals can figure it out, like
right.
you sometimes,
But like, think about it, like, no, because like when I was a kid, I remember my thought for sex was the guy just put it in and that's it. There was no moving back and forth. They all just sat there. That's what I thought sex was.
That's
Mormon
true.
soaking.
Was soaking. Oh, yeah. Wow. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I don't know if it's natural animal instincts. I would think that your buddies will talk about it. Especially where I was raised, my cousins, they were talking about it, but I just didn't really my brain didn't want to, I don't know why, but my brain didn't want to comprehend it or admit that this is how sex is done. It's maybe it kind of knew it, but it's like, it couldn't be. It's like hurt my brain to think about it till I was a little older.
Wow.
But yeah, I don't know if that's that way for everyone, but, yeah, my experience.
We need to pass around flyers, hey, if you don't know how, here's a how-to guide. Okay, wait. So, what was dating like within the if you are Amish and you're still Amish? What was dating like? Were there protocols? How were you allowed?
Yeah. Here we go. The protocol was hands-off relationship. So, no touching shoulders and above, or you can only touch shoulders and above. So you can only touch your girl, it's the shoulders and above. And yeah,
So you did to that guy
Get
last
away
night.
from-
You were like,
stay away from the
okay,
pits, you know. But yeah, so you can basically you would Sunday after singing, so you get together Sundays afternoon, Sunday night at one of the family's house of your youth group. You have a singing, then you take the girl with you from the singing in your buggy and take her home. That's one form. So you would like sit beside each other, and then the other one would be maybe Saturday nights. You go to see her at her parents' place and sit on the couch and just talk. And
what is
it, yeah.
happening? Oh
Yeah,
my
wow.
god!
What is that? What is like?
Could you get freaky on the buggy on the way back? Is anyone watching you?
No, but I'd say, a small percentage, but not a lot of people. I mean, I wasn't there, but I would say it's
You just don't want to. It's
there's-
fear-based.
Yeah, it's imagined for generations and generations. You've been programmed to think this way. Your grandparents, it's like it's bred into DNA. It's almost comes natural. Or if you're like living in the state that you grew up, it's just what you think. You got to break out of that to see what's real. So
Wow, like their version of falling in love looks so different than mine. You know, like they're experiencing
very
different emotions.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't know how to fall in love sitting on the couch with my parents.
Well, people do it on a TV show. They like sit on a couch and talk to somebody that they've never met, and then they fall in love.
In front of your
Fall
parents?
in love.
yeah,
In front of a camera crew?
Oh. Well,
yeah.
but that would just be, I don't know. I can see it.
No,
but-
I mean I would not consider that falling, and I would consider that as most falling in love as you can.
Right.
Did you fall in love that way?
No, I would like, they don't, a lot of the emotions and feelings, you just numb. So you don't really think about it or allow yourself to feel that stuff. So that's one thing of it, but you just, it's more viewed as a contract. It's more like robotic, like you guys were saying, I guess. You could see it's more, less emotion, less color, less life. It's more just robotic. It's more of a transaction, maybe. Like, I like you. We can stand each other. We can that's not for everyone, but it's going to be, it's going to be, but they're not going to get like, freaky with each other and try that to some extent. But it's the job of sex and marriage is to raise kids to work on the farm and make money, that type of thing.
You know what's crazy too is because you didn't grow up with like movies or did you have like anyways movies?
Nope.
Like a lot of our culture, we growing up with like romantic movies, we have fallen into the idea of
That's
like a
it.
movie type of
Yeah,
love, and which can look toxic because it's like not real. Like
Right,
it's not real
right.
at all. But like you guys didn't have that, so that
is true.
yeah.
Wow.
Because that would, for you guys, it would guide.
Expectations are different.
Yeah.
It would guide your reality too. It would show this is what you see and what you hear, and that's how you would
How it
interact with
should
each
be.
other.
Right.
And that's what everybody knows. For me, it was, we just kind of did our way of what everybody knew for us. So it's kind of the same, but it's just a different way of knowing or different way of doing it. So, yeah.
Oh my god.
Do you have a lady now?
Single.
What do you look for in a woman
I'm pretty
or in a
unique
partner?
or whatever, so she'd have put up with a lot. But I would say somebody that is wild, wants to travel, got to be independent, that type of thing. So I don't know, not really much, just kind of.
Just gotta fit.
It's got to fit. It's got to be the right fit.
Yeah.
Tomboy, maybe. I don't know.
How do you feel about like psychedelics?
Love it.
Love it.
Oh,
Oh, wow.
wow.
What was your first experience with that?
Because you grew up with cows.
Yeah.
Wow.
So we eat the mushrooms from the cow poop.
Did they ever have? Did that ever happen? Like,
I don't remember, but no. My first experience was about a year ago, August last year. Mushrooms and what was it like? See, I did it probably about. I microdosed, so it wasn't like crazy. Maybe it did like 3 grams or whatever, 3 milligrams. I don't remember, but it was. I don't know. For me, doing psychedelics, it's just like the picture shows it, where it creates neural pathways in your brains. And I feel like does that for me. Every time I did it, it just allowed me to think of things in a way that I've never done. And especially with my loop I've been stuck in, and there's multiple different loops, but that's really what it's done, help get out of these loops. So, but my craziest one that I've done was I felt like I was stuck in Wizard of Oz movie. So you know the spiral, the yellow brick road. So I was walking up the hill. So it's an ancient, I think it's a burial ground, but it's like an energy site in by the river in where I live, close to where I live, right on the 40th parallel. And I was walking up, it's like a half a mile. It's like a circle up to the top, and there's the sun and the moon and the stones around there. And it was weird. It's like I was walking up the yellow brick road backwards, and the animals were responding. Like I could, the bees, I could kind of like, I was their symphony leader or whatever. I could. So, yeah.
This was while you were on mushrooms?
Yeah. It's about a year ago, last fall.
Wow.
I was like my third one or something.
Okay.
Do you ever like have to rework, like during a trip, rework? Do memories kind of pop up from your past that maybe situations that you're just like have to shake off? And
I felt more like past life stuff might be coming up from mushrooms. Like I feel like I'm over in Egypt by the pyramids or something sometimes.
Wow.
I feel like past life I was, involved in that. I've done a lot of shadow work, they call it, where any trigger that I got, I would just go follow it to the root and try to change the energy of it. So I've done that for a lot of, before I did the mushrooms. So I don't know if it would be different if I didn't do a lot of that work before that, because I have dealt with a lot of the issues already, but I don't know.
Yeah,
usually it's more, I don't know, just I get an urge to study history and look into Egyptian religions, philosophy, different things like that, ancient Greek stuff. So
do you like consider yourself to have trauma from your upbringing, and have you had to go to therapy?
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow.
Definitely a lot of trauma. I would say the past, since I've left, I've been healing from the trauma intentionally for the past 13 years, and I finally feel like I'm pretty much.
What are some things that, like for me, I have like trauma whenever I, like growing up, we've talked about this before, but my parents would, if I was upset, they would send me to my room and like, go to your room, don't talk to us, don't look at us until you calm down. So now I'm having to rework that. And when I'm upset, my emotions are flooded, sit and talk with my partner and not escape the room and not go away. And so, what's something that from your past that's now that you're having to work through?
I feel like I had to be my own dad almost, where I go back all the way, because my dad was definitely not very good. He didn't do at all a good job. I was the first, and a lot of abuse. But I would say for me, like just going back all the way, and anything that any belief system in my subconscious or a lot of things, like say I get like the room example you're using, if I get a trigger, somebody, say for example, somebody gives me a command, do this, and that would trigger because I've, verbal abuse. I've experienced commands through verbal abuse, and that's really all I really know. Like, do this, you get a trigger from. So I would then follow that and just feel it, hear it, and
How do you respond to someone, or how did you respond? Did you become quite rebellious? Like, or when someone says, hey, do this, what would typically happen?
I don't know, definitely rebel. Yeah, I would definitely rebel. I had the hardest time with authority because of probably my parents or my dad. But yeah, any authority, I could not stand being told what to do or told how to think. Or
what were the repercussions if you disobeyed your parents or anybody?
Like when I was younger?
Yeah.
Yeah, so definitely spanking, yelling, spanking, stuff like that. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I mean,
There's-
same.
How are there just not like wild like Amish going wild in the streets against the police? Just like it cannot take it. They're just like, oh, like it's just unleashing.
Yeah,
That
y'all-
way, yeah.
Y'all have to like abide by the government still,
Yeah.
though,
Oh,
right?
yeah. Oh,
Okay.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Taxes, we pay taxes.
Okay.
And, yeah.
Damn.
What is your view on religion and faith now? Like, and where are you with that?
I'm definitely basically where I'm at with it. I can understand why people are, or what people believe and why they believe it. But my personal belief, I would say that, let's see, I think that Christianity is, let me get my words together a little bit. Let's see. Yeah, I think, I don't know if I've made a decision yet what I believe. However, I know that what I was raised is not right. My personal belief is that there's probably some kind of source or something that connects us all, but it's not, we're supposed to, hear ourselves, find ourselves. It's like the Bible's a metaphor to show how to do certain things. There's truth in it. It's not meant to control us. It's some certain truth that you can take from it and apply to your life if you want. But I just, that wasn't the first time around. There was other religions before that, and the Christianity is so fear-based that it kind of like the Amish, it controlled the whole world for so many years, and I think it's breaking its hold now. But so I don't think Christianity is the way, or any religion. It's going to be more of a path of people looking inside and connecting to their true selves, and then I believe that you can unlock who you are, and then you can be a productive member and help other people. So
more spiritual.
I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I agree with everything that you said.
Wow.
I don't know if I want to put a label on it, but
Yeah.
it's,
I think it's good that there
I don't really
isn't
have
one.
a label.
Yeah.
I'm just like, I'm kind of just doing
No,
it.
yeah.
I don't know. That's my fear, because I don't want to make another religion, or I don't know. But
Yeah. I see that.
I kind of want to go back to the drugs question really quick.
I love drugs.
What is this that I hear about Amish hoarding a fuck ton of cocaine in their barns?
Amish and cocaine. God damn.
Like when
Never
we were
heard
in
that one.
Lancaster, so the reason we got connected, obviously, is because I had to shoot a wedding in Lancaster, and Lacey second shot with me.
Lancaster.
Oh, sorry. Lancaster. I can't
Lancaster.
say it. And we were driving to the wedding and took a turn, and it was all like this whole Amish
Fields.
community, fields, these older houses, people in wagons, and me and Lacey were like,
Do it like hanging up
What the
laundry
fuck?
outside. We saw baskets. We
farm
saw
like,
a buggy, right?
Yeah, a buggy and like farm stands and stuff. And we were like, holy fuck. And I was like, we should get an Amish person on the podcast. And I was like, wait, they won't, oh yeah, they won't be filmed, right?
Right.
Amish people will not be filmed.
Why?
Oh, they believe their soul will be taken, right?
I don't know. That's a good. I never heard that. I think the posing is maybe pride, or no. I know what it is. Something about graven image. The Bible says something about don't make other graven image beside God, and they claim pictures or posing would be making yourself into a graven image.
Oh, I thought it was because they believe the devil would take your soul.
I did hear that one as well, but I don't know which religion that was. I haven't heard that in the Amish, but I don't know. But what about you heard cocaine?
Right. Okay. So anyway, back to this. So yeah,
never heard about
the
this shit.
person that connected us was the videographer, and he was like, they were talking to us about how there's some corrupt Amish that are hiding like a fuck ton of cocaine in their barns, like just the barn, and they got busted. This happened where they got busted, and like the barn was just like filled head to toe with just bags of cocaine. And I was just like, okay, like,
I see.
what?
I wanna, yeah, hook me up. I don't know.
Look this up.
That
Amish hiding cocaine.
I haven't met the person or heard about that, honestly. So
That's all I've thought about.
Are they mainly in like the Philadelphia area? Or are they all over because I know like Mormons are typically in Utah.
Yeah, it stemmed from like Pennsylvania, but like Lancaster is where it started, I believe, or maybe I know there's Ohio Amish. So there's Old Order, Lancaster County Old Order Amish is like one sect of Amish, and they mainly started in Lancaster, and then they're spreading out to, so basically a lot of states are going to New York, they're North Carolina, they're making so many kids they got to spread out, so they're finding new communities. There's Tennessee, there's just different spots that they spreading out to, the Old Order Amish, but there's also Ohio Amish. So there's a couple different, I'd say probably in 12, 15 states now. They just keep they make a lot of kids, so they keep expanding pretty fast.
How did y'all deal with summer, like hot summers?
Right now, I'm doing it right now. Just sweat it out.
God, that's so hard.
Yeah, your body adapts, and you just you gotta drink a lot of water, but a gallon of water or more, and you just sweat it out.
So okay, wait. I found. I just looked up just a quick Google search, Amish cocaine barn situation. And really the only things that I'm seeing are a ton of sexual assault allegations. So is that like a huge thing in the fucking Amish community? What the fuck?
Yeah, that
like child sex abuse, sexual sexual abuse is all I'm seeing in these headlines, and then didn't even find the cocaine thing until the very bottom. Yeah. And so is that like and now there's Amish bedroom secrets I could click on. So it's like, was there anything like that, like abuse that you kind of like looking back on, remember and be like, oh, that was not like, is there any instances that you can remember like that?
Yeah. I mean, like we're talking about, you put on a show and sweep a lot of stuff under the rug is pretty typical behavior or way of thinking for the Amish. A lot of sexual abuse going on that is not talked about. Yeah, I personally don't remember ever being sexually abused. So I don't know if it happened when I was like younger, but I've like thought it might have, but I don't think so. But there's a lot of that going on. Yeah, because you kind of have your own community. The church then would say a member would be found guilty with sexual assault. They would then take care of it within the church instead of taking it to the public. And just with that thought process or mindset of sex, you don't even really know what's socially appropriate or not. Even if you're growing up, I was never really taught what is or what isn't. You don't even know. Like if someone does that to you, you don't even know if that's bad. Yeah.
So who would be? Is it the people in charge that would be doing it?
I mean, it'd be a lot of men. I would say older men, or I don't know about older, but married men. I'd say, yeah.
I'm like looking at our questions. I'm like, oh my gosh. What was like a culture shock going into the real world? Like, what was the first thing that you were like, oh, what the fuck?
Like running water.
Oh, is that? Do y'all have running water?
We did have running water.
Okay.
Yeah, we had.
Damn, cavemen.
We had hot water and running water.
Okay.
No phone in the house. No TV. We had gas stove. Culture shock was, I would say, probably the biggest thing was, I don't know. I mean, first thing that comes to mind really is the way that normal people or Americans would, or how would you say it? How the relationship between men and women in the real world versus the Amish, that was probably the biggest shock because it was very different how they related to each other than in the real world. Probably one of the bigger shocks. Social stuff, social kind of that type of stuff. So.
Oh my gosh. Okay, well, I don't really think very positively of the Amish anymore. Am
I tearing them down too much?
No, I didn't really ever think anything, but now that I'm realizing it, I'm like, this is a very abusive, controlling. I thought that it was just like a way of life and they like knew and they had the choice, but now I'm like, this is fucking like, why aren't we doing anything about this? Like, anyway, but what is one thing from growing up that way that you have kept with you and that you do like?
Yeah, there's a lot of good things, absolutely. I mean, construction, I'm still doing construction, but just the mindset that we bring to construction, I would say, just, putting our all into it and working hard, and definitely that's important to me.
I guess they raised you to not be a little bitch.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you got to get up at 5 a.m. and milk some fucking cows,
That's
damn
right.
it.
That's right. I'm still doing it. Still getting up at 5 or 4 or whatever. So.
What time do you go to bed?
7, 8, 9, something like that.
7?
Yeah, 8 or 9.
You have the
maybe.
schedule of a newborn baby.
Yeah, that's what I am.
Wow. That's nice.
I would like to go to bed at 9.
I would like to go to bed now. No, I'm just kidding. I just would love that kind of sleep schedule. I like going to bed with the sun and waking up with the sun. I think that's super healthy. Damn, okay.
Be the goal, yeah. I don't always get there, but yeah. Some reason the last 2 years I just need more sleep. I don't know why, but need more sleep.
We're getting old.
I guess, yeah. That's what it is. Fuck, man. 30.
Wait, so you had never heard about the Barnes and Cocaine thing? Because I'm looking at that question still like really sad we didn't get any answers on that. I was looking forward to like really diving into that. Okay, well, dang.
Yeah, do you have like any more like ending thoughts?
Yeah, what's something that like we didn't touch on, because my mind is kind of blown right now with all this.
Well, I would just say like we kind of explored some of the dark sides, but it's just, people, it's a culture that people don't want to talk about much, or they want to shine it as a good light, because there's a lot of good things that the Amish bring. Like, they do bring a lot of good in the construction world, and especially in our area, there's a lot of everybody wants to hire the Amish. So there is a lot of good things. I don't want to leave those by the wayside, but for me, I try to take the good and leave the rest, but yeah, final thoughts. I don't know. I would definitely, to me, it's important to bring some of this stuff up, because it's even, people don't even realize that they're stuck in this loop maybe until they hear somebody saying, hey, this is what it is, and then, oh crap, I am stuck in this, and now. So that to me is why it's important to talk about the dark side, I guess, so other people can break out of it.
Yeah.
So, if they want to.
What's one thing that you wished growing up, even looking back now, that you wished you could have used technology for?
I would definitely, music was, I don't know if that's technology, but I wish we could have had instruments and radios and stuff like that.
I thought that Amish, it was like whatever you could make, you could use. And could you not make a banjo? Like, or just some type of, like, could you make a box?
Oh, we
and,
could,
like,
absolutely.
drums?
Mm-hmm.
Or drums, yeah.
Yeah, no, you could totally make a guitar, a banjo, drums, anything. I don't know. I think it goes to the music where it's the emotions. You don't want to get too involved with your emotions, because that's bad. It's the way I was taught, or whatever. That's the way I was raised to believe.
Wow, I mean, how cool that you are now in music. It's something that you always wanted to do.
Yeah.
Aw.
I wonder if anyone else that you know growing up has stepped out of it or escaped.
Definitely. I don't know if many people are willing to take it all the way, though. Like, because a lot of people step out and then they just kind of get stuck in a loop in a different place, you could say. And I'm sure I'm stuck in my own loops. However, some of the stuff that most people aren't willing to look at, I was willing to look at. So I think more and more people are going to be doing that, but I don't think a lot of people are, I don't know.
When
a lot of people wouldn't go this far, I could say.
Oh, yeah. Well, when your family left, was there like, did they have to deal with a lot of shit through the Amish community? Were they like harassed or anything? Did they have to move?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. My granddad sent my dad a very serious letter and trying to convince him, like, hey, this is bad. And my mom's side, you know, my grandfather on my mom's side also wanted me to stay with them so I could continue being Amish, because I was like the innocent one, they would say, like in the Amish mind, like dad and mom are the ones that are bad. They're forcing us to leave, so we have no choice, the kids, in the matter. But yeah, so I don't know. I forgot.
How did he send the letter? Through the mail?
Yeah,
Okay.
Isn't that technology?
you can do mail.
Oh,
Okay.
you can do mail.
Yep.
Okay.
Do mail certain
I
things.
didn't know there was like a bird.
Did y'all have to make y'all's own?
Like that. I'm like, is there like an
Carrier
Amish
pigeon.
bird? Yeah.
Did y'all have to make your own like hygiene products?
Some people would make soap.
Cause that would be cool. That's
Yeah.
a skill that I want to learn how to make butter.
But there's a difference
Yeah.
between soap and soap that actually disinfects you and keeps you super clean.
yeah,
Like that kills germs, right?
but you can make your own like shampoo and like deodorant and toothpaste.
I don't know. My my Aunt Rachel made soap that I used to wash my clothes. This was like a couple months ago. It worked fine as far as like it was like bar soap and then granular stuff, but it worked pretty good. Yeah. So I don't know as far as if it would have chemicals to disinfect, but no, it just I don't know what it would do, but yeah, making butter. Yeah, it's pretty simple. You get some cream, you can buy some cream, and just even in a Vitamix you can, or if you have a blender, just get butter and put it in a blender, and it'll turn, or cream, and blend it for 10 minutes.
How do you
Turn to
make
butter.
cow's milk into cream?
You skim it. So
Wow.
the milk rise. So you set the milk in the cooler for overnight, I think, and then the cream rises. And then you scoop it off. Just take a scoop it off, and
I've
put
always
it in a separate
wondered.
jar.
A freezer though? So they
Cooler.
Oh, cooler. So y'all have that too?
Yeah, it's like we gotta keep our milk cool. So you have a diesel engine that powers the unit that cools the Freon for the cooler and the milk cooler. So
Wow.
you can have diesel engines, but you know,
Not
then
Wi-Fi.
the diesel. Yeah, no Wi-Fi. The diesel would also make air pressure that would run the pump for the water, and yeah, the water heater was propane, so we would have propane and diesel engine and compressed air. That's kind of how we got our amenities.
Wow.
Cool. I
Well,
think we
dang.
have just 3 more questions. Right?
Yeah.
Let's go.
Oh my gosh. Okay. You wanna go?
Okay, so what is your favorite way to cook or eat a potato?
Cook or eat a potato right now?
Yeah,
Yeah.
not in Amish world.
Not in Amish word. It's the same actually. Mashed potatoes.
Oh, okay.
Absolutely.
What about if you were out and like what about if you were at a restaurant and you had the choice of a potato?
What?
Sweet potato fries were maybe second, but I would still mashed potatoes.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
Good
gonna be
to know.
mashed potatoes. Yeah.
I love mashed potatoes.
If you could be a gold medalist at any Olympic sport, summer or winter, which one would it be?
Snowboarding.
Oh, okay. Have you done that?
Yeah, not for long, but I need to again.
Okay.
Okay, last one. Would you rather trip on psychedelics in the desert or smoke weed on the beach?
Desert trip on the desert.
Yeah.
Okay, I figured.
2 of my favorites.
Okay, cool. Okay, well, thank you for coming on.
Yeah.
Wasn't
This is a treat.
yeah,
No
this
way.
is good. I just I wasn't really expecting this. I don't know. I feel really bad for the Amish, the younger the people that are trapped in that. I didn't ever think of it as abusive, but it definitely is. And I'm like, can we as a community get together and like do something about this, like save these people? But there's no way.
know.
So thank you for educating us on it, and
Yeah.
I'm glad that you made it out.
Yeah,
Thankful for your parents for starting to think for themselves.
absolutely.
Yeah. But before we kind of wrap it up, we know that you're a musician, so where can our listeners find your music? Where can they find you? Yeah.
Yeah. BenjaminBeiler.com is the website, and TikTok, Benjamin Beiler Music, Instagram, Benjamin Beiler Music.
Okay.
Check
Okay,
me out.
we'll leave everything linked down below.
Yeah,
so.
we'll tag you. We'll do everything because guys, check out his music. Listen to this.
Catch him in Nashville.
Check in on your Amish friends somehow and see how everyone's doing. But yeah, thank you for coming on. You flew all the way here, and we really appreciate that. Thank you for educating us. And yeah, you guys, Lacey, you wanna go?
Yeah. If you want to keep up with us, everything can be found down below. Stephanie and I's Instagram, as well as the Oh Here We Go information and socials. If you would like to give us a rating and some feedback, we would absolutely love that. We're just two growing girls.
Oh my God.
And on that note, we will catch you in the next episode.
Yeah. Bye.